The Outlanders Journey. Tier 1, Level 3. Chapter 20. Mock. You hear a young girl's call, unsettling yet familiar. You are on all fours, chasing something. The air is dense and smells of an impending storm. In the distance, thunder bellows and lightning crackles, and soon the blackened clouds weep hail. Still, you continue to sprint forward. Find us! Save us! Find us! Save us! Find us! Save us! Find us! Save us! A bolt of lightning screams, lashing your head and surging you with terror. Your eyes pop open. Cold sweat has drenched your bedsheets. You blink away your tears, and as your vision clears, you make out a black-skinned elven man standing over you, observing in silence, the one who visited yesterday morning and gave Maya Lee quite the scare. His breath is cold. His face is inscrutable. Flecks of snow glisten on the tips of his thick fur coat. His hair is braided and just as white as Elder Lasha's. You've never met an elf who looked as dark as night. He reaches his hand out toward you. Rock leaps onto your bed, ears perked up, hunched low, his teeth bared and mouth foaming. He snaps at the man's hand. The man backs away. You sit up, grabbing onto Rock's fur. Only now do you notice that no one else around you seems perturbed by the man's presence. Dura is rushing toward you, waving her arms at Rock to make him back down. The man holds his hands up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to frighten you. My name is Leoren. I was sent by Archdruid Ihi to bring you to her. She wishes to meet you and the leaders of the nomads. Dura clamps Rock's jaws shut in her arms. Instantly perplexed, he backs up, nearly stepping on your stomach. His tail tucked between his hind legs. He begins to whimper at you for directions. You rub his belly, signaling for him to lie down, and he obeys. The Archdruid wants to see me? Dura nods, taking your clammy hand. After she met Maya Lee and Bach yesterday, she now wishes to see you. You glance over at the fire pit, where Laurel, Errol, Bach, and Maya Lee are chatting intimately. Maya Lee's hair is tied into two little pigtail braids, allowing you to see the entirety of her face. Her countenance is still nervous, and she refused to tell you yesterday what her encounter with the Archdruid was like. But she no longer seems as terrified of Leoren as she was before. What for? You ask. I think it's best that Archdruid Ihi explains, says Leoren. You keep turning to Maya Lee, hoping she would have information to share with you, but she seems to be intentionally keeping her attention away from Leoren. You wonder if she was coerced into something. Is she scary? You ask. Leoren smiles. Her appearance may arouse some consternation, but rest assured that she is one of the kindest individuals that I know. She has received word of your long journey here, and she would like to provide some assistance. Elder Lasha is now approaching on your right. It is best that Leader Dura and I come with him. She must have been listening this entire time. We have many questions about this place. Leoren bows. Very well. I'll let you all get ready. He approaches the fire pit, sitting down next to Laurel and Errol. He pats Maya Lee's head, and you watch her tense up uncomfortably. A coldness washes over you. You don't like the way he touches her. Rock growls softly again. Something about him feels calculating and almost possessive. You roll out of bed. You shake your head to loosen your hair and run your fingers through the knots. You breathe into your cupped hands and sniff your breath. Now would be a good time to forage for some mint leaves. You sniff your coat as well, which still has the smell of ocean brine mixed with fetid swamp water. After so many months of traveling, you tend to forget just how filthy you become. A year ago this time, you were enjoying baths from the underground lake. The yellow grasslands would have changed into that vibrant emerald hue, almost as pristine as the lake itself. Ernog and Sean were still by your side last year. You recall the vast night sky in full view, as if painted just for you to behold. Your sunflower staff is leaning against the wall. As soon as you pick it up, its energy courses through your arms, running all the way to your head. The sensation takes you back to the lightning bolt that had struck you in your dream. There's a connection there, one that you will need to discover. "Can I bring this with me?" you ask, turning to Elder Lasha. "I want to ask the Archdruid a few questions that I have." Elder Lasha nods with resignation, a strange new attitude she seems to have taken on. It seems she no longer knows how to refuse your hunger to learn magic. You step up to her, and you realize you must have grown a bit recently. She no longer appears as domineering as she used to. You may now be a bit taller than her. "I won't agree to anything unless I have your permission," you say. "I promise." She smiles, stroking her thumb against your protruding tusks. They must have also grown. "I know, child." You soon exit the longhouse with the others. The air is biting, and you are numb with anticipation. You keep hearing strange echoes in the winds, a kind of humming or murmuring or howling of druidic words that seem to call for your attention, just like in your dream earlier. In a matter of minutes, you can't feel your extremities. Your ears are so cold they have turned hot. The staff in your hand is sturdy, and you grip it tightly. There is nothing to see but white snow and blackened winter trees. No path or light, only the crunching footfalls of Leoren walking ahead. And so, as you have done before, you rely only on sound and smell. The air is filled with a strange scent, otherworldly, scarred, and decayed. And the farther you travel away from the longhouse, the stronger this presence. The smell becomes overwhelming, so much that Rock begins to sneeze. You hear a knocking, and you realize you've arrived. Warm air touches your face as a door creaks open. The room is dim. You blink away the snow on your eyelashes. You enter. There is a window across from you. A masked elven woman sits poised by a table. She gestures with a hand for you to approach, and as if momentarily possessed, you obey. One step, your staff thumping on the ground, then another and another, until she puts her hand down. You are so close to her that your leg is nearly touching her knees. You can smell medicinal herbs on her breath. Through the eye slits in her mask, you see that she is staring deeply at you. With cold, brittle hands, she caresses your face, and you squeeze your eyes shut once more. You understand her to be a different kind of elf, an ancient tribe who has inhabited the forest for just as long as your people have subsisted off the plains. Still, with both her and with Leoren, you have trouble tamping down the unease. It will take you some time, as it did with Maeli, to overcome your prejudices. From her fingertips, you sense death coursing through you. Yet, the very life force of the land seems to cling desperately to her, begging her to keep watch over the forest for just a little longer. "Oh, my child, what horrors you have witnessed," she whispers. Rock rests a paw on your foot, whimpering softly. Both Dura and Elder Lasha have stopped breathing. They are kneeling by the back wall, listening silently. You can sense their worry without seeing them. I am so sorry I could not protect your lands, she continues. You know what happened? You say. My powers have diminished greatly, but I can still discern the call of the winds. When they travel to me, I hear of the great losses that the land has suffered. She strokes your hair. I can tell that you, too, can speak to the winds. They know you, and you know them. Could you hear them earlier? So, I wasn't imagining it? You ask. She nods. They are alive, like the land, and they are connected to the flow of the weave. You have this gift, child. I always thought my magic came from my direwolf. You scratch behind his ears, and you hear his tail thump against the floor. Archdruid Ihi chuckles. The dire wolves speak to the winds as well, do they not? They speak the same language. Without looking, you can sense Rock tilting his head with curiosity. My time in this world is limited. There is still so much I wish I could have done, but it is time for me to pass on my abilities to another, to a successor. She touches the staff in your hand. That you were gifted this artifact from the keeper in the Feywild herself. Perhaps the three of you will be able to become the new stewards of Sylvanos's sanctuary. If you allow me to, I wish to teach you. The three of us? Bach, Maya Lee, and me? She nods. I don't know if I can, you say. All I want to do is save my home. My brother, he told me it was my duty. If you teach me, will I be able to do that? Neither Elder Lasha nor Dura has spoken still. Archdruid Ihi sighs heavily, as though in mourning. If the land, in its willing state, wills it, then yes, I will teach you how to restore and regrow and rejuvenate. I will teach you how to protect and preserve, and I will teach you how to destroy. She takes your hands. The wind is calling to you. Ask and listen, and it will speak its will. She lifts her hand toward the window, and with a twist, the winds halt. A calm comes over the house. The snow has stopped, and all you hear is your own heartbeat. At first, it is slow, but there is a deliberateness to it. Then, the thumping grows louder, stronger, more akin to a drumbeat, the beginning of a group ritual, the stomping of feet, the humming of voices, the swaying of bodies. You stand before a fire pit, its heat dancing off your cheeks. You tilt your snout to the moon, and you howl across the grassy fields. An air current raises you into the sky, far above the treetops, past migrating flocks of geese, and over the clouds. You flail your limbs about, but it holds you tight. This strange yet familiar easterly stream travels far beyond lands you know, across the sea. You feel it call to you, and you, with your drumming heart, ask if you will one day see Ernog again. The northern lights shine above you beneath twinkling stars, in hues of green and purple and orange. You are struck by, all at once, visions of your brother and a young girl of indiscernible age, his and Dura's daughter, running into his arms. He lifts her over his shoulder, and he runs freely through the sunflowers. You are the winds, you are the clouds. You weep joyous rain as you watch him play with his daughter. You will bring him back. You all return to the longhouse by the early afternoon. Elder Lasha promptly announces a meeting. She politely asks the non-orcs to step to the side to give you all some privacy. Laurel, noticing the pleasant sunlight coming through the door, ushers everyone outside to take a short walk. As they all get dressed, you look over at Maya Lee, who spots you and waves shyly. Through her eyes, she seems to be asking if your meeting with the Archdruid went well, and you nod. Now, more than ever, you have found your true purpose. Dura claps her hands together, and once the orcs are seated around the fire, the chattering quiets. Elder Lasha, closing her eyes, bends forward, pressing her forehead to the floor as she leads the group prayer to Grumsh. She thanks him for watching over all of you, for bringing you all here to a safe, albeit temporary, place of rest. And as you partake in the chant, singing from your chest, you can't help but feel pulled away by this lulling tune. The winds, you realize, hum with you. They are a part of you. Someone somewhere in your ancestry long ago discovered the Ballad of the Winds. That is the origin of this song. Elder Lasha rises again, wiping away her tears. She opens her eyes, observing you. We met with Archdruid Ihi earlier. She is a wood elf, one of the main stewards of this forest. Today she asked to meet with our very own Mock, as she has heard the winds speak of his name. Everyone's heads have turned to face you as well. Now, Mock, tell them what she shared. You are squished between Balar and Ulgan, whose heavy breathing is only worsening your anxieties. You wish you were next to Dura instead. Though you know what you wish to achieve, you have no idea how to articulate this ambition to the group. You open your mouth, but your throat is dry. She told me she wants to make me one of the next archdruids. Everyone seems too stunned to speak. The silence is palpable. You look down at your hands and feet. I want to do it. Why? Someone immediately asks. Kogan's voice. I want to do my part. I want to help. Help whom? This elf woman? Asks Olur. She is the one who let us in, is she not? You hear Balar say. We should be more grateful to her. The Furbolgs let us in, not the elf, Olur snaps. How do we know there is no ulterior motive, taking our own away from us when they know we're vulnerable? There are grunts in agreement, and Bor adds, We know already that the elves like to steal children away. The Furbolg boy may be one of many kidnapped children. More grunts of affirmation. But that's not what she wants, you say, and everyone quiets down again. And it's not what she'll do either. I want to learn from her so I can help us. I told her I wanted to save our home, and she said she would teach me how to renew and regrow. Faces now turn to the others, looking around to gauge the others' opinions. Is it true, Elder Lasha? Olur's muffled voice asks. Yes, says Elder Lasha. She also said she would teach the boy how to destroy. Only Leader Dura, Mak, and I saw her bodily state. She is a dying woman. She tried to mask it, but I saw black pus leaking from her skin. She does not show her face anymore, likely because it is too hideous to reveal. The stench of death marks her home, the same stench we witnessed in the field of dead bison. I see nothing of value for her to teach our boy. But that's because the land is dying, you say. The forest is dying, and Archdruid Ihi is dying with it. Then that only means you will be subjected to the same fate should you become the next Archdruid. She is passing her disease onto you. You shake your head. No. Although you yourself don't know if you will be affected, you wish now that you could have spoken to Maya Lee and Bach first and figured out what they decided. Though Bach seems rather gleeful with excitement, Maya Lee has become notably more withdrawn. What is causing her trepidation? You glance up at Dura, who is watching everyone, trying to read the group's consensus. Her belly is beginning to show. Her daughter, your niece, will likely be born here, in the forest. Do you believe the woman has evil intent, Elder Lasha? Asks Kogan, sitting to her left. Elder Lasha closes her eyes, as if recalling the scene. No, I do not believe so. However, I do not believe it is appropriate to expect young children to take on such impossible burdens. If she, an elderly woman who has lived for centuries, has not resolved the problems of the forest, then how can she expect our mock to fix them? More people grunt in approval. Not to mention, says Allure, our mock was told to meet with her privately. I saw the others leave yesterday morning to see the Archdruid. I heard them chatting about their conversation. Why was Mock to go on his own? I didn't go on my own, you say, though you now do wonder why Maya Lee and Bach met her without you. Elder Lasha and Dura both came with me, didn't they? What do you think, Leader Dura? Asks Kogan. We need your input. Dura touches her stomach. She has been listening this entire time. She didn't speak to Archdruid Ihi, and even now, she appears reluctant to voice her thoughts. In many ways, you empathize with her hesitancy to be the leader, a responsibility she never asked for. Ernog always wanted Mock to properly learn magic, she says. He believed it was the only way to secure our land against the elves. Times are changing, and the rules of survival have grown more complicated. Mock, his dear little brother, was his hope for the future. You lower your head again, and Ernog's final words to you replay in your head. The wind's whispers sometimes sound like his voice. I am afraid, Dura continues. I am so fearful of what may happen to Mock if he is corrupted by magic, yet I have seen all the help it has provided. Many of us would be dead if not for magic, we all know this. But more than that, I have seen Mock's happiness when he activates his powers. He has a gift, he wishes to learn, and as his main caregiver now, I must fulfill my duty by helping him cultivate his potential. But we know what happens to those who give in to witchcraft, says Allure. He will lose who he is as an orc. No, I won't. You shake your head. My boy, you have grown, but you are still too young to have such certainty, says Elder Lasha. It is too early. But none of you understand what magic is, so how would you know what's best for me? You stare intently at Elder Lasha, unblinking. I said I won't do anything without your permission, Elder Lasha, but I beg of you to give me this chance. I saw a vision of Ernog. I became the winds of the Great Plains, and I saw him. Silence falls upon the room once more. Elder Lasha's eyes widen. When? Earlier, when Archdruid Ihi and I spoke. In only that little bit of time, she taught me how to listen to the winds. And when I asked it if I would see Ernog again, I saw a vision of him and his daughter. You point at Dura's belly. Gasps ring out this time, and heads now turn to Dura, who appears just as shocked. You saw my daughter? I saw all of us reunited, you continue. And I know that I was the one who did it. I know that one day I will learn how to bring our loved ones back. That's why I want to study under Archdruid Ihi. I can bring back everyone we've lost, If you'll only let me learn." "How do you know this to be true?" asks Kogan. "What if the visions are deceptive?" "I know it," you say. "I know Dura will have a daughter, and I know what her name will be. I saw sunflowers and tall golden fields span endlessly. All of us were home. That's what I want more than anything. I won't lose sight of who I am, because this is what I'm doing everything for. How can you say I'll lose myself as an orc when everything I do is for us?" The murmurs of private conversations rise in intensity, reminding you of the whispering winds themselves. There's skepticism, but an undeniable sense of temptation and curiosity at this impossible possibility. "Let me try, at the very least," you say. Elder Lasha's eyes are welling up with tears. Still, she shakes her head. "My boy, my sweet boy, we are only trying to protect you." "Then stay with me. I'll come home every day. You can see the man I become. I'm turning 14 soon." You remember how Ernog looked at 14 during his coming-of-age ceremony. Muscular, tall, having already hunted down his first pronghorn. You can still barely wield a spear. There's stifled laughter, but Dura shushes them all. Once he is 14, he is considered old enough to decide for himself. All we can do is determine if he is to begin now or later. She nods, smiling at you. It's been so long since you've seen a sincere smile on her face. Her eyes have expressed only grief and exhaustion. From my perspective, Mock, you have my approval to begin now. You wish to run into her arms. Your eyes begin to grow hot, but you blink back your tears. You turn to Elder Lasha and bow your head. "Even when I turn 14, I will only do it if you let me." Elder Lasha closes her eyes, exhaling deeply. "There are so few of us left. We are barely a people at all. Forever we will subsist on the generosity of strangers. Forever we must pray that they do not tire of our presence and exile us to certain death. Mock, I fear for you every day. I fear that you will lose your soul to these dark powers. But perhaps you are greater than I was when I had your gifts. If you truly believe this is the way, then you have my blessing, but only on the condition that you must stop when I believe you have learned enough." She gestures at the others, who pipe up, some granting you their approval, and some expressing doubt that you can truly follow the path you have sworn. The winter winds, however, overtake the voices of the orcs. You hear the call of a young girl, crying out to Mistra for forgiveness. She is a young Elder Lasha, no older than 10, begging on her knees as she covers her ears to please let the sounds go away. And you, hearing her, close your eyes and reach out, cupping your hands over hers, whispering, "Let me take this from you, and one day I will free you."